Please.
And we are live. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Welcome to episode 21 and our second Ladies' Night podcast. So, tonight we have returning Cindy and Devora from last week, and Sam, the tech support in the background. But we have a new panelist, Megan. She's joining us tonight. And we got some interesting topics tonight. We're going to go dig a little bit deep into that we normally don't dig as deep in, but tonight it's going to be very good to do that. Before we get started, I want to do a little hurricane sit rep. Hurricane Melissa is starting to churn up in the Caribbean. Currently, it does not look like maybe one track or two tracks could possibly go towards Florida or the Gulf, but it is not likely. But this storm is looking like it's going to stall and be pretty massive and sit around for like a week and drop a lot of rain like Milton did. But this is going to happen in the Caribbean. So hearts and prayers out for all those people that we don't see that much devastation. But just stay tuned to like Mr. Weatherman, Ryan Y'all, or if you're local in the Tampa Bay area, Dennis Phillips. They give you the no fear porn reports on what's going on with the storm. And also a thing to ponder is last year, Helene was an Atlantic-born storm, and then Milton was Gulf-born, and they were only like 10 days apart, 2 weeks tops. So the Gulf is still extremely warm. I'm a little curious, a little worried that with all this weather and turbulence in the Gulf, it might churn up another storm starting out from the Gulf and just come out of the blue like Milton did. So let's not sit there and get too relaxed thinking, oh, Melissa's not going to do anything to us. If you have not topped off this summer, top off now. There's a lot of political and military activity going around the world, Venezuela, Ukraine, Israel. We don't talk about that stuff on the show, but any of those things can pop off at any time, cause some kind of havoc in the supply chain, and then we're holding with empty hands. COVID's 5 years ago, but those shortages are still vivid in my memory. All right. So with that said, let us get started. All right. So our first topic for tonight is wellness when running a family homestead. It is more than just, growing some plants in your backyard in a raised bed or having a couple of chickens, depending on, what you're doing. Cindy and Devora have, robust homesteads, just more heavy in one ways and versus others. Megan has her own homestead, and she'll chime in about that as appropriate throughout the show. It's a full-time job, y'all. And it's hard to even go somewhere away for the weekend or go camping because someone's got to feed the chickens and milk the cows and just take care of the animals. So tonight we're going to talk about, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual aspects of running a homestead, the stresses, the pros and cons for the family, not just the person that's the main person for the homestead. We're going to talk about what's in your garden and then talking about building community with your homestead as the core. All right. So to get us started, let's talk about wellness when running a family homestead. Cindy, why don't you kick it off for us tonight?
Okay, well, I'm going to start with fermented food since Devora and Mike were over yesterday to make kimchi with me. I think gut health is at the core of being in good health, not getting sick. I haven't been sick in over a decade as far as like infectious stuff. Never had COVID, and I was teaching high school. It just, I never got it. And I think that's the key to it. Plus, even as a young woman, I always cooked from scratch. I just thought it was the thing to do. So I do a lot of from scratch cooking, stuff from my garden. In fact, I'm at a point now with that type of cooking that the stuff I actually make my food with is made. Like I make my own Worcestershire sauce,
which is fantastic.
I gave Devora and Mike a bottle yesterday. Yeah, and that's fermented too. It's a little bit fermented. So yeah, I eat from the garden. Yeah, what you got? Minestrone soup. I made minestrone soup from
Ooh,
the garden, and
nice.
egg salad from the chickens. And yeah, I think healthy eating, and the herbs and the tinctures and the salves I make, and our secondary, I think it's mainly what you're putting in your body. And then I've always gotten a lot of exercise. I've kind of slowed down as I age, but the homestead still, my husband and I do pretty well with that, and we're getting up there. But we keep active. We've always been active, and that's a big key to staying healthy, in my opinion.
Well, we've seen a lot of videos online, big family homestead or, Rose, what's it? Rose Garden Homestead with that older lady. She's really good. I can't remember. I'm probably mispronouncing her channel. But one of the things they a lot of them advocate either cooking from scratch, clean eating, and one thing I saw was common, other than some of the individual ladies, was they're cooking for large families. Okay, so I'm a big advocate for like food pantries, like a working pantry, short term, middle term, and stuff. But you see, a lot of people tend to put a lot of, you know, commercial stuff on their shelf for their working pantry or their grocery in their house. Now, how do you take all this freshness and clean eating and build your working pantry or work from it?
Very careful about what I purchase. It's going to be organic. I read all the labels. There's certain things you've got to have. I mean, I grow sugar cane here, just for fun, but there's a few plants, but I'm not going to do my own sugar. I do, I'm a beekeeper. I have the honey, so I use, honey and things. Um, yeah, I'm very careful about what I buy. And Sam, he's been going with us on shopping trips. He reads every label he comes into contact with, so he keeps it straight and narrow.
If you
Very good.
haven't tried the Yuka app, I've actually found that to be really informative. It is fantastic and really changed the way I shop.
It
What
definitely
is
is
that?
good.
I missed that.
It's
It's
Yuka,
it's an
Yuka,
Oh,
and you
an
can
app
scan
on
the
your
label.
phone.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, before.
So does it like analyze? So if you got a jar of tomato sauce
It
and you
tells you
scan
whether or
the,
not it's healthy,
Yes.
very good.
whether or not it
So
has healthy ingredients.
it's going to actually break down when you scan it. It's going to go from 1 to 100, how good it is for you. And then it'll have different color indications: green
Mhm.
for good things, yellow for moderate risk, red for, hey, there's some bad stuff in here that can actually be adverse to your health. And then you
Polysorbate
can actually
80 is a
click
bad
on
one.
each one individually and see what it is and what it's actually doing to your body.
Well, that's good. I'm making note of that because,
Fantastic.
You
you know,
know,
yeah.
there's a chemical, and I usually just read the labels because I have the biology background. The polysorbate 80, I learned something new about that. They classify that as an obesogen. You
Really?
start eating that, and I mean, you can put on weight, and it's very difficult to lose.
Oh, wow.
That's just I don't want that stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, a lot of people they talk about clean eating or just eating healthier and stuff, and I think they get caught up in the organic labeling,
Yeah.
which is a lot of bogus marketing from what
Hmm.
I've seen, and just costs more money.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there's a difference between it being healthier and it costs more money versus the bogus marketing where um, they sit there and change two ingredients or
Yep.
something, to go to Whole Foods or I don't know, is Trader Joe's, is that considered healthier food or just cheap food for yuppies kind of?
Kind of for yuppies.
Okay.
Whole Foods, they changed their whole definition of organic. They won't even tell you in the
That's
store. I
because
don't.
Amazon owns it. Amazon owns Whole Foods
Oh
now.
yeah, that's
That's
right.
why. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. So what I do is as far as like things like that most people would buy and stock in their pantries. I buy whole grains. I am a big proponent of einkorn, which is an ancient grain, and I have a grain grinder, and I make my own pasta, and I make my own sourdough bread. I started an einkorn starter, and I try to go at it from that way because I love bread. And whereas bread might not be the best thing for you, when you ferment it with making it sourdough, you are allowing the body to process it more completely. It starts to break it down. And the ancient grain is easier on your body to digest than whole grains.
Wow. What about your, you got a working pantry, Devorah?
I do. Yeah. In fact, a friend of mine does, he does food distribution in the Pacific Northwest, with grants, and he lost his grants with USAID. And, what he did with his grant money was he would go and he would buy beef from indigenous butchers and bison from indigenous bison ranchers, and he would buy salmon from indigenous salmon farmers, salmon fishermen. And so he had a big stock of that, and I purchased a whole bunch of stuff from him to help him out. But the guy that he had ship it did not pack it very carefully, and I paid for express shipping, and he shipped it out on Friday afternoon. UPS picked it up on Saturday, and I didn't receive it till Monday. So everything was thawed, and I have been canning like a lunatic the past few days. I have 8 quarts of bison stew, 32 jars of 32 pints of salmon, 8 pints of hamburger patties, and I still have a whole side of salmon that I'm going to try to smoke.
Oh,
Nice.
I want to barter with you.
So my pantry is taking a little bit of a different turn.
Yeah, you turn into a little micro wild fork over there.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband's like, "What are you doing?"
Well, for those in the audience that don't know what Wild Fork is, it's a meat restaurant for wild game. So stuff like elk and bison, stuff that you would not find at Publix. They have a couple locations in Tampa, and I think a couple outside of the Tampa Bay area. But it's great. Brendan's gone there a bunch of times, and we've talked about it in the show a couple times. And when we went camping last year, I think it was last year, yeah. He brought elk steaks, and we had that, and it was delicious. Grilled those out. So, yeah, that's great. So Megan, what about you? What's your nickel on what we've just been talking about?
Yeah, definitely. I have got to change my diet. I have been doing that over the last couple of years, especially with the fibromyalgia and everything. Changing your diet is definitely key. Just also with everything that's been going on. That's why I brought up the Yuka app, because I had to change both my diet and the way that I'm thinking of all of these different things. And like I was saying, I've been building a food forest. I go out and I'll get moringa, and that keeps me naturally healthy. I'll go out to the orchard and everything and get some mango or avocados. We just did freeze-dried bananas the other day, and we're trying to have everything available for our animals on the homestead. I started growing stuff for them. Lots of willow, which is excellent for your health and everything. I like to have medicinal plants as well as things that are edible for our livestock, because what they're eating is what we're eating.
Yep.
So it's definitely a new way of thinking after kind of being lied to by the government for so long. That's why I think a lot of us are here.
Yeah.
You have all of this advertisement, hey, this food is great, and you're going to pay for that great food, and then you find out actually it wasn't so great. So I think that was kind of how a lot of people got started into this, and that's definitely where we came from on our end. And so I've definitely been researching a lot of different things, and a lot of really great foods that have made me feel completely better. So I'm not having to take medications for this and that.
Well, one thing that
Megan,
goes.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to offer you some of my kimchi or other fermented vegetable that I think it would probably help with
Oh,
the
absolutely.
yeah. So
I
It's
love
good
the
stuff.
barter.
I would just like to give you one to try and see if
Sure,
it helps with your
absolutely. I
yeah.
love
Your kimchi is like crack. I kid you not. It's like crack. I could not stop eating it. My husband's like,
You're gonna
what
give
are
me
you
attention
doing?
and cut me off. No.
I did notice you got the shakes yesterday when y'all were making it. Yeah.
Oh,
I love that. I would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I would love for you to come by and
Okay,
get some.
great.
Yeah,
yeah.
and visit with us.
That's pretty awesome because, you always hear about bartering in the preparedness space, but until I really started hanging out with Sam and Cindy, it was not something that I really saw in action. And the talk of barter from in preparedness, it was always like, hey, stock up on whiskey and cigarettes and stuff that you
Right.
can trade with people after the balloon goes up. But that's not what they're talking about. And, we sometimes put too much emphasis, and when I say us, I mean the preparedness space, on what happens after the balloon goes up. And that's such a small amount of time, and it's not even here yet. We have no idea when it's going to be, but we're missing out on the opportunities on the spectrum of collaborating with people, learning new things, getting healthy, learning bartering and building those relationships. And it's one of those things I want to emphasize more. Using bartering as one of those methodologies because I think it's important. It's one thing to think about the future, but we still got to live in the present. And while we're here, why not sit there and live our best lives in, the lifestyle we're trying to do here, and then, oh God, there was a point I was trying to make earlier. It'll come back to me. Let's see. Let's go back to
Well, you want to make those connections now while things are okay, rather than make them after it hits the fan.
Yeah, and me and Brendan have talked about this quite a bit. And he mentioned in one of the last episode that he was in about him and I have the understanding that in an emergency, major thing, he's all the way across. He's far from me in relative sense. So basically, if you're not within 15 minutes, you're generally not going to be able to help somebody right away. Okay. In an emergency, if Brendan's pipes break at his house, yeah, I can drive the 45 minutes over to East Hillsboro and go help him. But, if we're in lockdowns or there's some natural disaster or whatever, I probably am not going to be able to get over there. So we don't count on each other for that. But we have all this other time in the spectrum that we're able to help each other now. And that is really more important. So I just want to emphasize that to the audience. That's my evolving philosophy on it. So I hope you guys can dig into that a little bit and kind of, buy into it. Because one of the big detractors I hear from people being out in this space, well, I don't want to hang out because it's too far. I mean, more than 15 minutes. There's literally people in one of my networks, they don't want to go more than 15 minutes most of the time. And you're losing out. So at the very least, I'm learning skills, making relationships. And if I got to drive 50 minutes or an hour to do it, that's fine. It's nothing. So I wish more people would take on that philosophy, and I'm going to try to encourage that. Sam's in the same boat as me because he's been trying to host things and he faces the same challenges. And then some people, are afraid to meet in person. Some people are afraid to meet online, like we're in video, even in chat groups. I mean, we're live streaming here, but even if you're just having like a Telegram chat, a lot of people don't want to get on video there. They're afraid, Big Brother is watching. They already know who you are, so stop being afraid.
I had someone tell me the other day, I want to maintain a low profile. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want to get involved. Like, okay.
And that's how the extreme sides of any equation get all the attention and do all their get away with all their shenanigans. So when we sit there, there's a quote out there, and I'm gonna butcher it, but basically, evil men are able to get away with what they do because good men stay silent or something. I've totally butchered that up, but I'm sure we've all heard it before and we get it. So now that doesn't mean we got to go out and confront people, but we can go out and treat this like a ministry in a sense and collaborate with people and share the gospel of preparedness. Okay. So if you don't want to be a Christian or, whatever flavor of Christianity, well, be a preparer, you go out there and just help people with that and build some friendships and community. And that's really what's the core of it all.
And you know what? Like Milton came through the state. It didn't, and Helene, it didn't affect all of us equally. And those of us that weren't affected were able to help those who were.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So general question to the panel. Okay. We're still in the wellness. And speak on any one of these three. Okay. When you're running the homestead, how's it impacted you physically, mentally, or spiritually? Good, bad, doesn't matter. Megan, let's start with you. We're going backwards in the round robin here.
All right, sounds good. Well, I mean, spiritually, I am a Christian. And for me, a lot of times, I'll be honest, I'll throw my headphones on during the day and I'll throw on one of my playlists. And it'll be, different songs that I had. And that's exactly what I did today. I was out doing my farm chores and just jamming out, having a good day. And it gives me such peace. And I have communion with God. Mentally, my best days, and this is going to be for anybody, if you're not at work, it's a good day. But I mean, I actually have peace, on my homestead. And I love that, I mean, everything else, like just going down the road now. I mean, the road that I used to live on is now full of warehouses, we have traffic and everything. And I mean, just day to day going to the store is just crazy, my homestead is the one place that I want to be, and I'm building community with that. Like you were talking about bartering, that's definitely something that I've been trying to instill, in my own group. And physically, I like at my job, I walk 2 miles a day at my job, and then I come here and I'm doing the same thing. So it's definitely kept me much healthier on my homestead, especially growing a food forest and eating the animals that are eating the good things and not just having the processed foods all the time.
Yeah. Well said. Well, you bring up a good point about encroaching all the warehouses. Homesteads are starting to turn into an oasis. I remember just from beginning to do events up at Crimson Sky Ranch, Devora's place, and now all the apartments and construction they've done just like down the road from her. And she's surrounded on her area by, wineries and horse farms and stuff like that. But literally not even 90 seconds, 2 minutes, boom, you're at a major road and there's all this construction. and it's something similar with Cindy, not letting everyone where they know, but like they're surrounded by massive like HOA style communities, but they're like a giant oasis, her little area where she's at. And hopefully it lasts a long time, that it stays that way and it doesn't approach any further. All right, Devora, what about you with the same physical, mental, or spiritual?
The picture behind me is my front yard. How could you not step out your door every morning and say, thank you, God, what a blessing you've given me. And just every single day I am blessed by what's around me, but by what I've been gifted with. And it's important. And that's why we open our property to everyone, is so that we can share in God's blessings. And I raise chickens and now sheep, and I have a cow that just had a calf, so I'm milking a cow every day, and it's a lot of work. There's no question. Before I came on this live stream, I came home to broken pipes that the cow had gotten through fencing and broke water pipes. Oh. So it all has its challenges and its adventures. You never know what you're gonna walk into from day to day, but it's a blessing. And as far as strength goes, it's funny because when my daughter was younger and living at home, I don't remember what I was doing. I was throwing hay or throwing feed bags or whatever. And my daughter was like, oh my gosh, Mom, look at those banging biceps.
You can start doing MMA.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm fighting off sheep instead of people.
Oh my gosh.
They call rams that for a reason. But but yeah, I mean, even as far as health, as far as sickness goes, the amount that I get sick since I've been living here is almost non-existent. When I get sick is when I'm around a lot of other people, and but when I'm just here, I'm rarely ever sick. And I make something called fire cider, which I know Cindy makes too. And it's full of antibacterial, antiviral, all these good, healthy things, horseradish root, garlic, jalapeno, just all this wonderful thing, rosemary, all the healthiest herbs that knock crap out of the body. And it sits there and ferments for a couple of months, and then you strain it out and you drink this this delicious brew, and so it pushes off anything that comes on.
And it's only 80 proof, so you could run your lawnmower on it, right?
It is made with apple cider vinegar. There's no alcohol in it.
Oh man.
Tinctures, on the other hand, definitely vodka. I have a lot of Cheetos.
Oh man. All right, Cindy, let's swing over to you.
Okay. Like Megan and Devora, when I'm outside with nature, I feel very close to God. And I've always loved being out in nature. That's my favorite place to be. You know, a bad day outdoors is better than a good day inside. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I like being with my chickens, and I feel very blessed. Wait a minute. Do I have to say I feel blessed by my obnoxious geese?
No.
I don't think I do. I'm just kidding. I've got a sense of humor. I love being outdoors. I like having my hands in the dirt. I like working with my bees. I even like my black soldier fly larva. I like to get my hands in them and feed them
I
to
need
my
to get started
chickens.
with
And
those.
what's that?
I need to get started with black soldier flies.
Yes, I will work with you on that. Yeah, we'll get you started, and yeah, I would be more than happy to do that. Yeah,
Awesome.
the chickens love them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
my ducks do too. They go crazy for them.
yeah,
Very nice. You know, what's interesting thing is, a lot of times you'll see this online and, and in videos and stuff like that where people like, have a blessed day. I feel blessed. And then sometimes people feel weird about saying it. But I think even if you're not religious, I think it's good to say it because it just shows that you're humble. You're grateful for what goodness you have in your life.
And you want others to have a
Yes.
beautiful, blessed day as well.
Yeah. It's not just a churchy Christian thing to say. People they're showing humility.
Yeah,
And,
we've always said on our farm we are blessed to be a blessing. So
I
it's
like it.
very good. All right. So we will move on to topic 2. Being a little bit more structured tonight because I'm trying to get better at my job here. And
You're doing great, Dominic.
I keep trying to side rail you, though.
I know, right? For me, it's always a personal goal to sit there and to cut down the ums and but once I start thinking about it, man, I might as well get a counter because I have like 20 of them. But topic 2, what's in your garden? Not your wallet like Capital One, but what's in your garden? So we can talk about food, that we just, consume and cook and stuff. We could talk about medicinal plants and herbs and spices and stuff. And then environmental is a little broad, what's in your garden to help with pests, to help with rebuild the soil, whatever, broad topic, anything you think fits. So let's start with Devora this time. What's in your garden?
Right now, a whole lot of morning glory that I have to pull out because during summer, it just takes over and it's too hot for me to go outside. So I have to go outside and unbury all of my fruit trees. So when I am able to get out there after I finish processing all this fish, I have peaches, pears, persimmon, pomegranate, mulberry, nectarines, plantains, bananas, grapes, muscadines, root beer plant, pawpaw, figs, Mexican sunflower is a great chop and drop. Loquat, I said persimmon, pecan. I have a lot of peas. And I have a lot of seeds that I need to get in the ground. So I need to get my butt moving. And, you have all these things that sidetrack you, like a cow that busts water pipes. And so that puts off your plans for another day. So I need to stop having those little things happen so that I can get.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of non-common, based on me talking to people, they'll grow cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, or what's that common thing in Florida? Okra.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that you've mentioned are not things that I've heard Florida people growing.
Also ginger, several different types of ginger and turmeric. So I am a very lazy person by nature, and I don't like to have to be out there fussing with things all the time. So I like to plant things that I plant, and if it makes it, thank you, God. And if it doesn't, I'm going to pull it and put something else in the ground because I run a business full time. We have weddings here. We run a music festival. We have livestock. My my husband likes my attention, and I like to give him attention, and I need to go down to my mother's frequently because she's old and not well, and so I don't have time for things that are fussy.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. All right. So let's swing over to Cindy. What's in your garden?
Okay, I'm growing, of course, annual vegetables. We've got the 11 or 12, 17 and a half foot beds, and they're pretty much all planted. Now we just got some carrots in, some of the, October vegetables. A lot of wildflowers that just we let go and let them grow here because of the bees. We've got a big food forest that is just really going to town. I like to make a trip through there, and the annual garden for, like making my minestrone soup yesterday for company. And what's that?
Thank you. It was delicious.
Oh, you're so welcome. And one of the things that I don't intentionally plant that came in handy yesterday was the beauty berries. Love making beauty berry jelly, and I made my jelly failed. I think my pectin was old, so we just used it as syrup on yogurt. I make yogurt, and it was really good on the yogurt. And kind of a replacement, something healthy for ice cream, because ice cream has so many different awful things I wouldn't want to eat in it, unless you make your own. But I'm not doing that. What else is in my garden? Sam's been planting a lot of trees, fruit trees. He did violate my rule a couple months ago because I don't do anything that's not edible. And he put in a tulip poplar, but he sold that to me saying, the bees are going to love it. That's true. They do. I heard that. That was verified. So he's got a tulip poplar in. And let's see, trying to think of,
I got a cheat sheet if you want it.
oh, the garden plans. Is it focused in there? Anyway, that's it. I keep a record of, everything I grow. And Sam put in the cattle panel trellises with Jim, and we got that all done, which was great. And we have the shade cloth in there. And yeah, it's going really good. We're harvesting a lot. Oh, and then there's the roselle. We've been harvesting roselle. I've been making the yummy Jamaican sorrel drink with it, and then you can add rum to it. It keeps better in the fridge when you add rum to it. So
I find it.
And actually, I've bartered for rum. We have a fellow homesteader that's in North Fort Myers, I think. Yes, and he actually grows a lot of sugar cane, distills that, and makes rum, and it's super yummy. So I make sure I barter with him. He's a fellow beekeeper too, so he makes something called honey shine, and yeah, we do that. But stop by, Megan. You can have a little bit of the roselle drink with us.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Nice.
Yeah, Megan, one of the cool things, and it's interesting to me, that is different now that we've collaborated with Sam and Cindy. So many people, like in my network, have gone and done personal visits at Sam and Cindy's, whether to do small group individual trainings with them, to get fed, barter, all without being prompted. It's just, when I say without being prompted, hey guys, why don't you go do this? Boom, they're just having conversations with each other. Next thing you know, oh yeah, I was over at Cindy's house. Oh, I was over at Cindy's this other day. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to go over there.
Yeah.
Cooking for people is love. That's what I do. I really love to cook.
And I love to eat.
Absolutely, me too.
Well,
I'll make you lunch, Megan. Come on by.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, one of the blessings. Yeah, one of the blessings with Sam and Cindy is that they're basically retired from corporate world, so now their full-time job is running their homestead. So they have some good availability. So definitely recommend communicating with them offline and going over there to visit.
Absolutely. I want to pick your brain on the bees. I want to get them started this next year.
Oh, good. I'm training a person that I just met in Dominic's group, and she's been a godsend. I'm telling you. And I would love to teach you about taking care of bees. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals, is to pass on some of my skill sets to younger people. And so I love doing that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm even bringing my daughters over to learn how to make sugar scrubs and all those girly things. Yeah, all those girly things. Sam, you better have something for us to do when we're there.
I got a list. My dry erase board is full of projects over here.
I'm gonna have to bring over one of my new toys.
Okay.
I just got the Mantis X system.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then there's always, the what are the dummy knives for? Practice. This is actually a blast. You get a lot of good exercise. You can make it as aerobic as you want. I like it.
Very awesome. All right, we're gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna throw a question up here. This is from Magwell 57 from the Georgia group. Any herbs or spices that offer antibiotic or wound treatment?
Lots.
So there's a lichen that grows on oak trees called usnea, and it looks similar to Spanish moss, but when you pull it apart, there's a fine hair inside of it, and you can use it to stop bleeding, or you can you rinse it and tincture it and take it internally. That's a really good one. Oregano is a great antibiotic herb and thyme that are used for specifically that are really great for your poultry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that Spanish moss you were talking about. I mean, you see in the movies and TV shows like Native Americans and in the what's the word? Like in the old Celt Viking shows and stuff like that, you would see them pack wounds with some grassy kind of thing. Now, do you guys know what they're referring to there? And is it just to keep the wound covered, or it has some medicinal attributes to it, or both?
So usnea itself, not Spanish moss. It looks similar to Spanish moss. It grows in the same place Spanish moss grows, but it is not Spanish moss. So you can use it to stop bleeding, and it has antibiotic properties.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about, Domenic, is more like the mosses not Spanish moss. That's actually Tillandsia recurvata is the scientific name. Sorry, my biology is showing.
Biology showing.
Your biology is showing.
But I think you're referring to is like the tundra mosses that grow at altitude or in very cold climates, and that stuff is awesome for packing wounds and stuff. But the Spanish moss, the Tillandsia recurvata, I would not do that with. You could probably cause a pretty good infection using
they have mites and stuff in it. The Spanish moss, but yeah, I was in Iceland, and the moss that grows on the ground there, they actually use as an herb in their cooking too.
Cool.
They just walk out their back door and pick the moss off the ground and use it in cooking.
I always wanted to go there to eat that putrefied shark. I was going to go before COVID. I really want to try
it. It smells horrid. It smells so bad.
It's okay.
Let's see. Let's go to another comment here. All right. So Brendan, during the Battle of Gettysburg, they ran out of gauze and started wound packing with usnea. And didn't know why those people had a better survival rate. is using it something that you can grow, or is it a
Yeah,
byproduct?
it grows in the oak trees. That's what that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Oh man.
You
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
Michelle in our group harvested some on her homestead and sent me some through the mail because she's in North Florida. Yeah, it's around. You just pull it apart like Devorah said, and if it gets that a little elastic feel where it kind of stretches a little, you've got usnea.
now,
Great stuff.
do you guys? And again, I'm referencing some kind of movie or something I've probably seen in the past where some people were trying to put maggots in wounds to eat the dead
Yes,
skin or something, or dead flesh.
yeah.
Is that a real
Sterile
thing?
maggots will eat the necrotic tissue. And it's really amazing how they work. And I know I had a friend many years ago who realized her dog, she didn't know it, but had some puncture wounds, probably from the teeth of a wild animal. This was in Colorado. And we started looking through the wound and we're finding maggots. And so we called her dog's vet, and he said, "Oh, that's good. It's gonna, kind of keep that wound clean." And he said, just go ahead and get some tweezers and pull them out and see how it looks. And we sat there and pulled out a lot of maggots, and the wound looked really good and clean. No necrotic tissue at all.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And disgusting.
We know about maggots because it's usually from decomposing bodies. So I guess that's really the big change there. I always thought though with maggots it was because the wound was infected, because you always see it on dead animals. Okay, so if you saw it in a live animal, then maybe it was an infection, but it seems like a natural occurrence.
Yeah, there's a lot of different maggots. You've got blue bottle fly. Sam, you could probably name some of them.
Soldier fly maggots.
Oh, well, soldier fly maggots. I feed them my
fly
chicken.
maggots.
But there's all different kinds of fly maggots, and they come at different times for the decomp. There's ones like I used to use dermestid beetle larvae for eating the dried flesh off of skulls because I had quite the skull collection. I would break for roadkill. I had a little kit with a knife and just cut the head off. Yeah. I got some really weird looks.
Oh my gosh. Now, like for these maggots, could you sit there and like feed them to the chickens afterwards after you were?
You can. I've heard of this. I have not tried, but you take a little bit of meat, put it in some cheesecloth, hang it in the top of your coop, and as they fall off the spoiled meat, and the chickens wait for them and grab them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a thought. You could try.
Smells delicious.
Let's see. All right. Brendan said it grows on dead hardwood. Grab a handful and throw it on some branches or oak logs in the yard, and it will take off.
He's referring to the usnea.
Okay. So to grow it. Okay. Very cool. All right. So let's see. I don't think we talked to Megan. Megan, what's in your garden?
So like I was saying, I do a food forest. I have just started doing a little bit more traditional as far as your annuals and whatnot. I actually did some python beans this year. But a lot of my stuff is going to be more food forest related, like the moringa. I have katuk. I've been growing like a lot of different things, chop and drop for Mexican sunflower. I've also been growing a lot of things in preparation for the bees. So we have a lot of those different things. I've been planting all kinds of different flowers and everything for them because we don't use any chemicals on our property. And we have a lot of wildflowers and everything there specifically for the bees. Also, we have lots of sweet potato. I grow a lot of that because I also have rabbits and they love sweet potato vines. So I like to have dual purpose for a lot of different things. We have lots of, we have some figs, we have dwarf mulberries, bananas galore. I actually have like 7 racks on one of my banana trees
Nice.
right now. And mangoes, avocados, some plums, some Barbados and Jamaican cherries. If you haven't tried Jamaican cherries, they are phenomenal. Tastes like cotton candy. So oranges and all kinds of different things. Passion fruit vines, a grumachama cherry.
Ramachama.
Thank you. That's
Mhm.
and
I can't get mine to grow. It's been
no,
like this for 3 years. It's been this high.
I just found a grafted one. It's probably about 4 foot tall right now, so it should start blooming. It did actually bloom a little bit, but it should hopefully start setting some fruit this next year. I have 0 patience, so I went ahead and feed it a little bit. But I love my Barbados cherries. They are packed full of vitamin C. They are absolutely fantastic, and been freeze drying and everything. Some bananas, like I was saying, and I do have some turmeric, and so we do have lots of medicinal things. I like to grow lots of herbs and everything for my animals to keep them naturally healthy. Um, Rosemary. I do have time. I wanting to get some more lemongrass. We actually just got some. What is it? Sugar cane. It's a Thai variety, and I've been trading with my neighbor. He actually has animals and everything, and he butchers animals and whatnot. So I'll trade with him.
I
Oh, very
apologize.
cool. Do you think that you're at a point where you could 100% feed your animals from your property right now?
So my rabbits, yes. I did just my ducks. I would say probably about 80%. Um, I use very little feed for them. I actually don't buy a lot of store-bought feed. I buy a lot of like the feed like for my poultry through third-party sources. My rabbits, I can pretty well take care of them off the land. I have quail and whatnot, and I forage for them as well, and they're super easy to take care of. But I that's my goal is to be able to feed them completely off of the homestead. And that's kind of what we've been gearing towards ourselves. I'll go through the yard and just kind of pick things off throughout the day. Exactly. So I think everybody's trying to get away from the store bought meat,
Yeah.
especially with all the new things coming around. You might not be able to buy or sell. So you have to have.
Megan, do you barter rabbit poop?
I will bring you some. I already had it. I got it together.
I'm so happy.
$5
No
bucket.
composting needed.
Megan's the poopernator.
Yes, I have a lot. I have a lot. I actually do. I've been doing the biochar this year. I've been doing. Yeah. I like to make my own garden soil, so I've been doing different things and everything, and my entire homestead is trial and error, so it's fun.
Do you need bamboo for your biochar?
So I will always take bamboo. I did just plant some sea breeze bamboo this last year, but it won't be harvest size for another year or so. But
I would be happy to bring you some.
Absolutely, by all means. I would love that. We had a few trees go down this last year during Milton. So we've been burning off a lot of different things, and I've been chopping all of it down and trying to get it all, used, so it's been going really well. But absolutely, I know that bamboo is fantastic for biochar. It's one of your
Correct.
best.
And I would love to see how you do it because I'm getting ready to start that. I would love to know more about your technique because I'm a newbie with the biochar.
Absolutely, absolutely. I get a couple of different things together and everything. I'd love to show you how I do that. It's
Wonderful.
a real fun process. So, but
Sounds like some field trips.
Yes,
absolutely.
I'll drive for rabbit poop. I'm telling you.
You can have as much as you want.
This brings up some good points because, in this space, we hear a lot of chatter about being self-sustaining, but I think there's a lot of emphasis when we say self-sustaining that, we have a bunch of food put back and we're going to supplement what we grow, but you got to be able to feed your animals. So that's why I asked that question. And that's a great goal to achieve because, again, you go back to shortages, and shortages can mean that there's nothing available or it's limited amount, but a lot of times it just becomes cost prohibitive. So you can have all the food for you in the world, but if you can't feed your animals without buying feed from Tractor Supply or wherever, then you're not self-sustainable. And you don't know how much of that stuff is, full of pesticides and, what do they call it? The frankenseeds and, all that stuff. So I think everyone that's running a homestead should try to make that goal as much as possible. Because if you got to close the gates, there's no going in and out. And you got to, especially when you have reproductive animals in a sense like ducks and chickens that create eggs on a regular basis. Okay. It's not just like, I'm growing some sheep and then eventually I'm just going to shave them and then butcher them.
Or a cow and milk that needs a lot of protein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, the sweet potato, Brendan always talks about how he would grow some sweet potato and then feed the vines or to his cows. And next thing you know, he had sweet potato everywhere because the cows would poop the sweet potato seeds everywhere. And from what he was saying, it can pretty much grow almost anywhere in Florida, so, which is great. And, his family eats a lot of sweet potatoes. And it, like Devora likes low maintenance. I don't have to pay attention to it, and I think Brendan has a similar philosophy for that.
And with that in mind, like I have bamboo, I've got mulberry that I can feed the animals. I've got the Mexican sunflower I can feed the animals. I've got moringa that I can feed the animals. I've got perennial peanut that I can feed the animals that's growing that I currently pay $20 a bale for. That if I can grow enough of it, I don't have to put out that money.
Yep.
If I can graze it.
Well, Cindy, tell him what we did with the food tonight.
Oh, yeah. Today we headed out to Shannon's Produce, and my husband used to pick up the produce that they couldn't sell. It would get a little bit old, so we went out there and we picked up a couple big garbage bag full of them, and they put it in a trash bin, and I just scooped it up, watermelon and romaine lettuce and some pears, and oh my gosh, the geese hit it first and then the chickens did a little bit, but they do my composting work because I don't have time to turn compost. So I have these, what I call chicken play beds. I fill them up with wood chips, and I just used a bunch of the finished compost finished by my chickens, and I filled it back up with wood chips, and then I just spread old produce on it, let the chickens go in there, they'll scratch, they will poop, and it's great. And then they turn it even, so it'll be ready in a few months, and I use it to recharge my raised beds. Give them a little shot of nitrogen and probably some phosphorus and potassium too to go in there, and works wonderfully. I don't have to put very much work into it at all.
You can dry out your eggshells too and grind them up and throw them in there as well.
Yes.
Nice calcium. And your
And I'm
coffee.
also growing. This is an experiment, and it's going pretty good. I just need to figure out. Okay, I've got to dry this stuff. I grow the duckweed. I grow the duckweed in some livestock tanks. It reproduces very fast, and it's high in protein. And I'm working on that for feeding my birds.
I've got
And
duckweed in my front pond too.
you have
Oh,
what?
Duckweed in my front pond as
Oh,
well.
yeah, that's supposed to be really good. I
Yeah.
think
Also, water hyacinth is really good too.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got that too. And the geese will eat that and the chickens will. And I've been working. I had quail at one time too, Megan. I call it homestead fast food because you can butcher them real quick in your kitchen, not even make a mess. And and yeah, I tried to get them to eat it. They were a little bit fussier, but I would. When we meet up sometime, I would like to know what you feed your quail and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
Very cool. All right, we can go with a couple more comments here before we go to the next topic. Brendan said oak leaves are a great forage for ungulates.
Ungulates.
Ungulates. I have no idea what that is. Can you tell me what that is, Cindy?
Yeah, ungulates. I'm assuming that's what he meant. It's a hoofed animal. Cows. Yeah.
Okay.
would be an
After,
example.
after milking, my cows and sheep just ate off of down brush for almost 2 months. Super high protein content.
And the tannins are great for the parasites as well.
And then let's see. He said, I have a produce market down the road and fed my first cow completely on the bruised and spoiled produce from the stands for free.
Yep.
Very good. I
They
didn't
do.
realize the cows would eat all that stuff. So it was always
Yeah.
like grass or hay or something.
Or worse, grains. Oh gosh, they just fatten up the cows. I don't like grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Sam. Was it Sam?
Yeah.
For those not seeing, Sam said in the chat, we even have the chickens carving out our pumpkins. Sam's over there clowning tonight.
He just scratches the design in it with my ginger grater, and he puts the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and the chickens go for those parts to pet.
Really?
And this is their second go around with it, and they're getting good. And I said, Sam, they're going to overcarve this pumpkin if you don't get it out in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Sam,
We'll-
you need to make a
We'll
YouTube
post a
video
picture
out of it.
on the hub.
Throw it on TikTok or something.
And the pumpkin seeds are great for parasite help
Mhm.
in the
Yep.
chickens.
All right. So our next topic is building community with your homestead as the core. Talking about bartering, outreach, and workshops, permablitz. Hey, Sam, why don't you give us 2 minutes here since you're in the background, totally in the frame here, buddy.
Right
For
here,
the whole
buddy.
show.
Right here. You're in the hot seat.
It's supposed to be ladies' night.
It's all good. We'll allow
Gender fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's up? What's going on?
All right, so Sam, the next topic is building community with your homestead as the core.
What would he know about that?
They got bartering, outreach, and workshops, permablitz. And, all joking aside, the reason I'm pulling you in on this is because you are such a functional component of Cindy's homes, your Goose in the Garden homestead, okay? That, and you do these things anyway, so why don't you speak on it for a couple of minutes? So give Cindy a break over there.
Did you need a break?
I
All right. Well, do you want me to just tell you what we do here?
Yeah, kind of give an example of some of the stuff that you guys done, because you guys are kind of at the forefront versus my network. So,
well, one of the things that we do as a network is we collaborate with everybody, different people and different networks. I mean, this is all the biggest thing that I realized 4.5 years ago or whatever, when we were all going through, is that people were not connecting.
Right.
and we were in isolation, and everybody had great ideas, and everybody wanted to move forward and not backwards, but we weren't talking to each other. So I just decided what we needed to do is create a system where we could connect and talk and meet. And it's exploded because that's what people are hungry for. People are, everybody has different ideas of what's going on, but at the end of the day, we all have to eat, and we all need to find like-minded people and to socialize and connect. And these are things that just people were hungry for. And a homestead is a place where you're growing food, good food, clean food, stuff that people want. And Cindy knows all about gardening and the biology of everything, and she knows how to make tinctures and everything else. And these are all things that are important to all of us because we're all concerned about our health. I think I went off on a tangent here. You have to rein me back in.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of coming back to where I'm going at. So, because the homestead is such a core component of it, that's where I want you to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Versus we're in preparedness, there's so much emphasis on what they call the sexy stuff, shoot, move, communicate, the medical, all that stuff. But the homestead is the heart and soul of any kind of network, any community. So
yeah, I mean, we can talk about tech, and we can talk about tactical, we can talk about comms, we can talk about a lot of things, and we all think about these things when we talk about preparedness, and they're all very important. But if you don't have food, then you're not going to be doing anything for very long, and you really don't have a lot to protect if you don't have food. Yeah. And if you're clever, you can build a network where you've got many people with different skill levels that can come together and work together on things, and they can barter, and they can start making plans together, contingency plans. If you're just, a homestead is a great place to start for all of this. And it's the complete opposite from what I was telling people they don't want to be, and that is the lone wolf. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in the preparedness culture are not talking to their neighbors. They're stocking up. I call them Amazon preppers. They're getting all kinds of stuff ready for whatever's coming in their mind, but they're not really connecting locally. They're not connecting with like-minded people. And so they can become quite vulnerable if a target, a soft target by, thugs.
Yeah.
Once again, I think I've wandered off the question.
Well, you kind of brought on a good point, because we hear the common term a lot about like-minded people. Mm-hmm. But I think people think of that term in the wrong way. I think everyone gravitates towards it in a sense that, oh, well, I like this political person and not that political person, or I'm on this side of a conflict versus the other side. But really, when we get to the core of it, like-minded people is that, hey, we want to grow our own food. We want to eat clean. We want to build community. None of the drama stuff. Okay. And It doesn't matter who you voted for. Okay. It's, can you grow tomatoes? Can you can those tomatoes? And will you sit there and volunteer and help out with a permablitz? Or, hey, show me a skill and then I'll show you a skill.
Well, one of the best things we did was take politics out of the hub.
Yeah.
And that the people start rushing in, because you can go anywhere for the politics, but who's doing anything, who's getting anything done? If you take the politics out, you just focus on, being a human being and feeding people and teaching people how to do things. That's what connects people. That's what people are really hungry for. Yeah. The politics becomes a distraction.
Yes.
I mean, I can offer my opinion on it, but to make it simple, what are they doing for us?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all got to eat. And,
I see this quite often because, I'm in all these Facebook groups and stuff. And, a lot of the Facebook groups, they kind of lean to the moderate, to the right side. Okay. Versus I'm sure there's people that go from the moderate to the left side. And a lot of the moderators try to, keep the politics out of it. politics, religion, and all that stuff. And there's only one Facebook group that literally has in its name, it's like liberal preppers. And I've been in that for a couple of months now and sharing content and promoting activities and stuff. And the people in there are exactly the same as the other people in the other groups. And I say this from the prepper perspective. The only difference is they didn't vote for Trump, where a lot of the other people in the other groups voted for Trump. Okay. One's for Ukraine, one's for, Russia, one's for Israel, one's for, Palestine. Okay. But they're all the same. They all have the same phobias and fears and gravitate to the same kind of fear porn. It's just the opposite side of the political spectrum. So if the reason I bring this up is if people would just sit there and focus on the definition of like-minded being growing tomatoes, canning tomatoes,
Yes.
collaborating, and leave that other drama to the side. So
100%.
Now, answer me this if you could. So what do you think has been the biggest, success story for you when it comes to building community and utilizing the homestead? Has it been bartering the goods from the homestead or being able to do outreach and workshops based on the homestead? If that's making sense.
Well, I'd say it's all connected, but yeah, I mean, one of our biggest breakthroughs this year has been meeting another large group right here in our own backyard. And I'm convinced that we are surrounded by people that don't know that there's other people right here in their own backyard prepping. And yeah, going back to like-mindedness, I made an assumption that everybody knows that we're not political on the hub. So when I was saying like-mindedness, I was talking about food and prepping and just connecting with people on a human level and getting to know them and helping people out and them helping us out. But yeah, one of the biggest things I think that's happened this year is us connecting with you guys in this local, right here in this community.
Yep, I would say that, and the satellite mag groups kind of.
Yeah, we have, we've got Sister Mag in Georgia that's taken off, and they're doing things. We're learning from them, and they're learning from us, and we've got people in the east coast of Florida and Jacksonville. Ocala's got a lot of people. We've got Fort Myers, that's southwest Florida. We've got people all over the place that are like-minded, that are wanting to do the same things that we're doing. And then, of course, we find people right here in our own backyard. And it's just been fantastic. Yeah, it's been great. We're never bored. We're stayed very busy, but we're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Brendan made a comment that I think we all agree with. I'm for America. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
All right. And okay, so then my next question for you, Sam. And
I can't get out of this chair, can I?
No.
I'm gonna switch to the ladies. I'm gonna switch to the ladies.
Apparently, you identify as Cindy Bear tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about permablitz, and then we're gonna switch to the ladies.
Oh,
or is that more Cindy's deal?
Well, that was a joint effort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a permablitz, if you don't know what one is, it's just basically a convergence on a property. And we had one in Orlando that was tremendous. And I think we had like 25 people show up.
Yes.
And typically the host, the property owner, feeds us. But we do bring things. We bring food. We bring plants. We bring seeds. We bring labor. And they set into motion this. They pick a date and a time, and we all converge on this place. And we just all roll up our sleeves, and we create a garden and or food for us right there in their yard. And so when of course they have some soil amendments there and mulch and various things already in place. So basically they feed the labor force that converges there, and we all have a great time. In fact, all of our workshops and meetups are very much like a fellowship type environment. Everybody has a good time, and we connect, and it's once you go to one, you get it, and then you're going to go to more.
I love it.
Well, the permablitz, I think, is the unknown hero that could be in this space to help people out. The reason I bring that up, I mean, we just look at Devorah's situation. Okay, she's got a garden. She hasn't been able to sit there and maintain it, and she needs a bunch of different work and stuff like that. So people that want to get together and they haven't yet, and they want to help people on their properties, doing a permablitz is good, and it's great collaboration, good community building. Even at the school level, my daughter is in FFA at her middle school, and at the beginning of the school year, we had to go to the land lab, and everything's got to be mowed, and you got to fix the benches from the rotting planks and paint them and put repairs on the chicken coops and stuff like that. And they make a punch list. So, I mean, you could do a permablitz to go and set up a garden or regenerate it, or you could help, fix somebody's that, has fallen out of disrepair. Maybe a husband had passed away and he did a lot of the stuff, and then the widow is still left around. So there's a lot of things that people can do to jumpstart.
Well, one thing you can think about is, what would the Amish do? I mean, the Amish, they're self-sufficient. They eat good, and what do? They connect with everybody in the community, and they have barn raisings, and they have various other functions where everybody converges on a place, and they help somebody out. And then, it's paid forward. And then, next year you may have a barn raising over here across the street or whatever. It's the same thing.
I've seen a video where they get together and they move an entire barn.
Yes.
They lift it and
it's awesome.
And move it to another property or to someone else's property.
Think like the Amish.
It's incredible.
Yeah, Deborah, I want to come out to your place and we do sort of, finish your water catchment system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we should set up convergence there and get it done. Absolutely. And then everybody helps, and then everybody learns, and then they know how to do it themselves.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Sam, you can switch chairs now.
Okay.
Cindy back to the captain's chair.
Hi,
Sam. All right, so now, Cindy, did you have anything you wanted to add on that before I go to the other ladies? Since
just that we enjoy doing this. We love to help people. We make really solid connections. And, I was in the school system, and people I came in contact with, they weren't interested in, gardening and doing this sort of thing. So to have access to all these people that want to do it, and the homesteading and everything is just, it's been wonderful for me to be around like-minded people like that are more worried about growing a tomato than chasing, money or whatever. It's just a great feeling. We've enjoyed ourselves. We get to go and meet people all over the state. We had a chicken processing workshop down in North Fort Myers. We had a person with the hub last year that actually built a range on her property. We had a workshop where we had a range instructor come out, do a class, and then we went shooting. That was in Jacksonville. It was really something.
Very cool. All right, Megan, what's your take on building community with your homestead as the core? Bartering, outreach workshops, permablitz?
Well, speaking of the range, that's actually something we're wanting to do on our property as well.
Here as well.
Say what?
Here as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, we have that swamp right behind ours, and we've really good with both of our neighbors, and it just would work out really well. So I do want to do archery. I want to do the guns, and as well as knives and hatchets and everything. I think that would be really
Oh, very
fun.
cool.
Fun.
Yeah. We as far as bartering and community and everything, like Polk County, I know that they've been having some issues with not being able to have male chickens, the roosters and whatnot. So that's definitely been one thing. I've reached out to a few different people and everything, as far as ducks. Hey, I know you guys can't necessarily do the roosters and everything, but they weren't saying anything about these. And I went ahead, and I think it was 33 between a couple different communities. We were able to rehome some ducks for them to kind of help out and fill in those gaps. We also really working with just bartering like services and everything. Like I said, my neighbor, he butchers a lot of the animals and everything, and it works out well, because we trade plants and everything, and just kind of trading services as far as, hey, I don't have the time to necessarily butcher all of these guys. If you do this, I'm more than happy to go ahead and bring you so many different plants, you know what I'm saying? And just creating that parallel community, so you don't necessarily have to be reliant upon the store and reliant upon anything else. And I really love the parablitz, that permablitz. That would be fantastic. I would really love to be there for one of those. I think that would be a really good community building for everybody all around. And I love that idea. So next time you guys have one, let me know. Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, and
We'll get you signed up on the hub.
Okay, definitely.
In the permablitz, I think it's good that people realize that you have different people that would help and do it. There's the knowledge people that have experience growing things and raising animals, like Cindy and Megan and Devora. And then you got the labor, the guys that don't grow anything or raise anything like me. I can hold the board and someone could, or dig a hole and stuff like that. So my point being is that everyone can contribute. You don't have to be a farmer or a rancher to be able to contribute. Everyone just comes around and puts their hands in. All right, Devora, what about you?
I love the idea of a permablitz. Like for here, for example, I have my trees are pretty well established. But I don't have the understory support plants. Although it's funny because like one of the things that I put in thinking that it would be a good understory plant is root beer plant. You have to know what is going to take over and what is not. And root beer plant, for example, has walked across my garden and is now probably 10 feet tall.
Wow.
I guess it's happy.
It loves you.
but many hands make light work, and you can't do it yourself. I've tried so many times. I've put in, I'll sit and work an area one year and I'll put in my trees, and then to get the opportunity to go back behind and repair the irrigation that failed, or that I ran over with the mower or whatever. It's just it's a lot to keep up with, and other people's hands is helpful.
Yep.
And it'd be helpful to be able to be a blessing to other people too, to get them started.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So let's do a little bit of roundtable before we close out for tonight. Megan, since you're new, we'll let you start it off. You can bring up anything, make comments about anything. Free reign.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, I definitely love the idea of the permablitz. That's fantastic. Like for me, I predominantly do 95% of the things myself. Like I said, my entire homestead is trial and error. So some things went really well, some things failed miserably, and you learn from it and keep going, learn a different way how to do it. I have redone, whenever I first got ducks, I've redone that yard probably a dozen times until I found something that worked. And now I absolutely love it. It used to take me an hour to take care of all their stuff, and now it takes me not as long. I've learned different things on how to streamline it. For me, I forage for my rabbits on a daily basis. I could go to the store and buy pellet feed, and they do get pellet feed as well, but not nearly as much. But I do that because I am making myself actually go through my entire yard and see what areas need improvement and what things can be planted there this next year, learning things like understory plants. Like I just got some katuk this year, and it's fantastic in my shady areas, whereas moringa is going to need more sun, and I have different areas for all of those different animals to be able to eat. If we ended up getting goats or sheep or whatever, they could, have rotational grazing. And that's really what we're working on. We gave them the entire back acre to just go ahead and eat and really take care of themselves, to where we don't have to constantly be at the store putting into them, and they're actually eating good food that we know what's going into them.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
All right, Cindy, what are your
I'm just Megan, I'm really looking forward to meeting you. So
Absolutely.
we need to have a way to get in touch. I'm not on Facebook. I don't do Facebook, just Telegram. I'm not a big social media person, but maybe after this is over, Sam can get you fixed up on Telegram. Because I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot from you, and maybe I can help you out. Not to mention the rabbit poop. Please don't forget the rabbit poop. I'll make you kimchi for rabbit poop. Whatever.
That's good.
It's as good as gold.
Brown gold.
Yeah. All right, Devora, what about you? What are your final thoughts?
So my goal is I have to put in more fencing so that I can rotational graze better. I used to, when we weren't doing weddings, I was able to do it really well. But now those pastures have to kind of stay pretty. So now I have to divide the 10 acres in back. And along my fence line, I want to do like Megan's talking about, and line the fence with mulberries and moringa and katuk and Mexican sunflower, so that literally I could just go to the fence and go chop and throw it in, and their food is right there for them. Because let me tell you, the goats and the cows were notorious for busting through fences to get into my garden, and they would eat things down to their nubs. So that's what they love, and it's good for them. So I've got a lot in the back as far as beautyberry and that kind of thing. But the sheep don't seem to like that as much as the goats. The goats would devour it. I used to run a herd of 30 dairy goats. Sheep are so much easier.
Yeah.
So
You know,
that's kind of where my thoughts are. And yeah, I need to be able to spend more time getting into the garden and working on getting that producing more. I mean, I do have the perennials, but I need to also get annuals going. I have a huge box of seeds that just have not gotten my love.
all right. Let's see. All right, one more comment. Let's see. From Derek. How are your, I'm assuming, sheeps?
Yes, my
Devo?
sheeps are doing good. My sheeps are doing good. Yeah, they're living their best lives. They have so much grass to graze. They're so happy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, for the audience out there, with all my friends that have properties, they've rotated all kinds of different animals the past 5 years that I've known, the various people. Like Megan was saying, it's like trial by error. I mean, we learn more from our mistakes than we do our successes.
Yeah.
And one of the very, important aspects of community and collaborating is the knowledge sharing. Obviously, you guys can see just from this panel tonight all the knowledge that is just sitting there, and all it takes is to collaborate and pick each other's brains and stuff like that. And a lot of us we collaborate with each other offline. I mentioned earlier that all these people have gone over to Cindy's. I hang out with a lot of the people in the network. A lot of times it's a small group. It doesn't always have to be a big event. You build community one person at a time, and one topic at a time, and you can make it work. It doesn't have to be complicated. And for the audience out there, if you ever need assistance and come up with some ideas how to jumpstart, don't hesitate to sit there and reach out, make comments, send me an email. It's fitandfierce@gmail.com. It's the same as my handle for Facebook. So hit me up on Facebook if that's how you've got this link. And I'm more than willing to try to sit there and get you started. It's kind of what I do. It's my ministry, connecting people and helping build community. And yeah, I guess that's it for tonight. We're at 1 hour and 32 minutes. That was a pretty good show, ladies.
One question for you. I was thinking, because I noticed Brendan's in the comments and, Sam kind of poked in. We should do a guys and gals panel sometime.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people that are tuning in for the first time tonight, this was the second ladies' night. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while because I interact with a lot of these ladies at events. Sometimes they've popped up on the podcast and stuff like that. So sometimes it's good to do the ladies only, or instead of just always the bro show. But doing a mixed panel. So this gives some experience for the ladies to get out there and shine. And Cindy doesn't have to sit in the Sam seat in the back. Okay. She can be in the forefront. Okay. Equal opportunity for everybody. But yeah, going forward, we'll just keep mixing up the panel. Sometimes it's the guys mixed in with the girls. And as topics come up and the ladies want to do a ladies' night again, we'll do it. But I wanted to give some credence to have 2 shows in a row with the ladies to give opportunity. And again, have an opportunity to bring in new panelists like Megan. So, and as we can, we'll bring in more ladies that are interested and, we'll keep it going. I love it. It makes it better having all these different opinions and experiences. It's great. But none of this beats meeting in person and collaborating.
Absolutely.
Okay. This just gives you guys a taste of what we do on a regular basis.
And it's building tribe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And yes. All right. If there's nothing else to see in the chat, okay, I think we'll end the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate it. And if you have not already, please subscribe. If for the very least, so when we send out the live streams or we do some other content, like Brendan's done a couple of how-to videos, and I still got to sit there and edit. One of them he did, I think it was on sugarcane. Brendan was breaking down some sugarcane and making some product, and I got to finish editing that video. I've been promising it for months.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and the videos he's done, he did some tallow, and he did something else. Both were pretty good. And those are already on our channel. But if you don't want to go watch our other content, that's fine. But I would encourage you to do it. But at the very least, so you get notified when we get the live stream, because the only way I'm able to promote these is putting them in the Facebook groups. And if you're not in that Facebook group, or you don't scroll on a regular basis, then you're not going to know when it's going to happen. So like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know when the live streams are happening. All right. And everybody, you guys have a great week. Be safe out there, and we will see you next time.
Have a blessed night.
Bye.
Yes. Blessings to everybody.